Hi, my name is Tammy,
And I'm Jen.
and they call us Woo. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to talk about meditation. It's something that I think a lot of people know of. Probably most people have at least heard of meditation sometime in their life. We'll talk a little bit about some of the benefits that we know of for meditation, and then Jen is going to lead us through a little impromptu meditation at the end of this, which is awesome. Um,
Or
so
as I said, whatever comes out of my face hole.
there you go. It'll be a good face hole meditation.
Yeah.
So meditation in general, just at its basis is not necessarily. Sometimes I think people feel like it means you need to just lay there and think about nothing. That is not really what happens in meditation. It's really not possible to shut your brain completely off. There's always something happening, but it feels less accessible when you think about it that way. So if we want to understand meditation, first of all, we need to accept that even a couple minutes of meditation a day is going to make a difference. It doesn't need to be a half hour of chanting and trying to shut your brain off. So that said, myself, I prefer guided meditations. I really enjoy having being able to just kind of concentrate on what a person is saying. I like having a variety of things. So some meditations I really enjoy that I might do over and over again. Others might be that I just feel like doing something a little different that day. I feel like I want to either address something specifically, or there's something that's been weighing on me that I would like to try to just kind of clear. Some of the meditations are 5 minutes, some are longer. It just depends on what type of time I have that day. But it doesn't need to be complicated, is the moral of the story. And just as a little bit of background on meditation and why it's so beneficial, there's a lot of reasons, but coming from it from an aspect of anybody should do it and can do it. I've even got a lot of useful information from therapists and others in the scientific community, because meditation is the only proven way to change your neural pathways, which I think is pretty epic. So,
Yeah.
your neural pathways form throughout your life, and the way that you can best describe it is it's like a heavily traveled street. Now, in your brain, if your heavily traveled street of I'm experiencing this emotion leads to this behavior over here, that actually this behavior may be something that's not the best for you, maybe it's an unhealthy behavior. To create a new neural pathway is basically like creating a side street off of that, where instead of this path where every time I feel this way, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to keep doing these things forever until I die and it's just going to be unhealthy for me, we actually have an opportunity to create a different way to travel. So instead of this thing creating this unhealthy pattern, now I can start to develop this thing creates this much more useful, much more supportive end point for me. And I thought that was pretty cool that there is actually research out there to show that it is proven that meditation can do that for you. So how epic is that we have that much power in our own minds that we can
That's amazing.
access, you know? It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I I don't I am somebody who I like guided meditations too. But I am somebody who is a very active meditator. So I do more active meditations, which people think is a little bit out there because most people do think that you have to sit still with your legs crossed and your hands in a mudra and you
Um,
have to, yeah, you have to do these chants. And that's not the only way to meditate. And I talked the last episode that we did, I talked about my Taslagi practice, which is very similar to Tai Chi in movements. And it's very you do repetitive slow movements and you work on your breathing and you breathe on certain movements, and you breathe out on certain movements and breathe in on other movements. And that helps me focus my energy and focus my attention so that I can receive more information. But I also do walking meditations. So I used to walk and I used to run as part of my meditation practice because, again, you're doing repetitive movements
Mm-hmm.
and you're giving yourself space just with yourself that you can focus your attention and receive the information that you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of the time when I talk to people about meditation and they're like, I just can't meditate. I hate meditating. It's horrible. I don't want to just sit there. And I was like, wait, wait, wait. I have some tools for you.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this. And I also have I used to give clients finger meditation maps. So they're like labyrinths, or like little mazes that I would print out on a sheet of paper, and you draw and trace the maze or the labyrinth on the piece of paper. And it's an active way to focus your attention, focus your mind, and
Mm-hmm.
meditate. And it's used in a lot of different traditions. And there are even some traditions that monks will do walking meditations where they just walk back and forth up and down a hallway
Mm-hmm.
for however long their meditation period is, because they have nothing else to look at, nothing else to focus on. So their attention is focused solely on what they're doing and who they're with, which is themselves.
I'm so
So,
happy that you brought that up actually because I that is a hindrance I think for a lot of people, and there is people who need the movement in
mhm.
order to be able to release things or even to focus on things. And that's as we learn more about neurodivergence and stuff like that, I think it's becoming more accepted to know that some people need movement. And
Yeah.
you can do that and still be in a very meditative headspace. A lot
Mhm.
of it has to do with intention. A lot of it has to do with connection, allowing yourself the opportunity to be at ease. But even when you're doing these guided meditations and stuff, you'll frequently have the same thing come up as they're teaching you how to do meditations if you've never done it before. That as thoughts come through your mind, because it doesn't mean you're shutting your mind off. As thoughts
No.
come through your mind, you're acknowledging them. You're not
Yep.
pushing anything away. You're not forcing anything. You're just saying, I see this thought, and you're acknowledging it and letting it move on.
Yep.
Now, sometimes in meditation, especially if you're doing a guided one, you are actually processing something specific
Yep.
as you're laying there. You're kind of going through a specific thing. There's one that I really enjoy that is a coffee meditation. And I love it because it's just a 5-minute meditation where you're literally just being guided through enjoying every single sensation that's happening with that first cup of coffee. You have never tasted a sip of coffee so good in your life as when you're doing this meditation because you're feeling the warmth in your hands of the cup. You're feeling what it feels like for the cup to touch your lips. You're feeling like they're bringing you through every tiny little thing. You're feeling it what it feels like to have it on your tongue, and then you're tasting from the front of your tongue to the back of your tongue, and you're just absorbing all these sensations, and it's peaceful, and it's really kind of a cool way to just enjoy something very simple like that maybe you wouldn't think of other ways. But the same with, walking. You can even just be focusing on, this is what it feels like for my feet to touch the ground. This is
Yeah.
this is what I'm seeing as I'm walking. You're just allowing yourself the opportunity for your mind to start to kind of relax and not
Yeah.
force the things that are happening. It also means you're not forcing away thoughts that come to your mind. If your mind is racing, you are lovingly acknowledging those things, and you're saying, this is what's happening in my brain right now. I acknowledge you. I'm going to let you keep going, and we're just going to keep on going with the
Mhm.
flow. It's just like a
Yeah.
beautiful, flowy experience. And
Yeah.
it's not forceful,
Yeah.
And if it does feel hard in the beginning, that's okay. You
Yep.
just keep on practicing. Maybe you just need to find the right thing that's going to resonate with you. Maybe breathing makes you feel more relaxed. Maybe
Yep.
focusing on counting. Maybe focusing on whatever it might be. Something's going to resonate with you.
It's funny that you say focus on counting. I was just thinking about I have my hair tie that's usually around my hand. People probably are wondering why I always have this weird black band on me. But I was going like this under the table and I recognized that I was counting one, two,
Yeah.
every time I do it. And I count when I drink too. Every gulp that I drink, I count. So if I take a big mouthful and it takes me 3 gulps, I'm like, oh, it took me 3 gulps that time. Like I've done it since I was a kid, but it's something that has helped calm me since I was a kid.
That's interesting. I do that. I count when I am doing an activity that I might get in my head about or I might struggle with. Like say I'm running. I have done I've dabbled in running over the years. I
Mhm.
don't really enjoy it. The only type of running I really enjoy is trail running sometimes, but even that when I'm trying to kind of get my breathing where it needs to be and not get in my head where I'm like this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore, I count cuz the counting like I'll count the rhythm of my breath or the rhythm of
Yep.
my feet because it's
Yep.
very relaxing for me.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I didn't know other people do. I'm sure a lot of people do that, but I don't know. It's just
I
happens.
I used to also count the stripes on the road when we were on road trips. Every time we'd go past them, I would count them, and eventually I got tired of counting them, and I'd go Elvin, Simon, Theodore, Elvin, Simon, Theodore, Elvin, Simon, Theodore, and I would count them
Cute.
that way, and then it was how many Elvin, Simon, Theodores did I just do? Strange thing, but I still think about that every now and again while I'm driving.
That is actually really cute. That I think it's just about the rhythm, right? Like
Hmm.
there's a soothing nature to rhythm for some people,
Yeah.
and certainly that's the case for me, and it sounds like for you too.
Yes, it's just like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Like that drumming, that that beat of the heart. I shouldn't do that over my microphone or one of the microphones. I don't know which microphone's actually picking me up today, but
I didn't hear it. If that makes you
yeah.
feel better.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Nobody needed to listen to that.
So,
Um,
have you been practicing meditation for a long time?
so we do meditation every morning in our house. I have been doing meditation in different iterations of it for probably 10, 15 years. I wasn't as great about doing it every day until I met my fiance. He is very committed to his reading and meditation every morning. So we made that part of our practice together. Even before I lived here, we would talk on the phone in the morning and read together and meditate together. Like we would hang up the phone and then meditate at the same time, just so we were well, it was more he was keeping me accountable to my meditation practice. Um, but so in the last couple of years, I've been much more focused on meditating because I actually have other people who are keeping me focused. But
I love that a little accountability piece too. And that maybe is where the guided meditation seems to work
yep.
well for me too. Because a lot of times the meditation apps that you can get, and there's tons of good ones out there, will keep track of how many days you've done it in a row so you can feel that
Yes.
little sense of accomplishment like, yay, this is
Yeah.
my whatever day, and you
Yeah.
can just keep trying to build that habit. But I will say, overall, I feel like mentally and physically, I feel a lot better when I meditate. It's been an extremely important part of therapy for some of my family members who
Mhm.
needed to be able to overcome some pretty tough things that they have dealt with
Yeah.
in their lives. To be able to help learn how to get through some of the anxiety, but also for people with PTSD.
Yeah.
One of my family members, well, a couple of them actually have complex PTSD, so it came from a long term childhood abuse. Um, it's interesting how much meditation played a role in them being able to think about things that have happened, and rather than being triggered into some of the behaviors that ultimately just didn't serve them anymore. And, it did as a kid, but not anymore as an adult. meditation was a huge piece of that, literally retraining their brain. And that's kind of what, the therapist was talking about. It's literally retraining your brain to be able to handle things without jumping to a more extreme behavior. And just thinking about what a simple concept it is, maybe it's too simple, and that's why we have such a hard time with it. I feel like a lot of us have a hard time with the things that are simple and good for us.
Yes.
Like drink water, eat your vegetables, meditate. No, I'm going to do all the opposite. But it, for such a simple thing, it's really got some very profound effects for people,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
accessible for everybody. And even think about, like, think of a little kid, like how innately we do things like this. When you think of like a little kid trying to fall asleep, they sometimes do these meditative type self-soothing things
Yep.
to help themselves drift off to sleep.
Yeah.
Even singing can be meditative.
Yeah.
Doing something that feels very familiar, where you're just letting it kind of flow through you, singing and music can be very meditative. And you look at kids and how they figure out how to do this themselves, and for some reason we just stop doing it when we get older.
Yeah.
But we'd probably be healthier if we keep doing it.
That is very, very true. Well, you said that these things are very accessible to people. And I think we should move into a meditation and make it even
Absolutely.
more accessible to them. So, if you are driving and you are listening to us and you want to do this meditation, please pull over and meditate with us that way. Do not do this meditation while you are driving, because I will ask you to close your eyes, and I don't want you to do that while you're driving.
We can put
So,
in the description too, now that I think about it, we can put the timestamp. So if you want to be able to go
yep,
back and access it when you have an opportunity, it'll be
yep,
easier to access.
perfect. So, I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to get yourself situated and get comfortable in the space that you're in. Find either a comfortable chair if you want to lay down, whatever is most comfortable to you. If you want to walk around, that's totally fine too. And once you find that place, I'm going to have you make sure that at some point part of you is touching the floor or is mm, able to be completely firmly planted somewhere. I want you to just take a deep breath in through your mouth and then slowly breathe out through your mouth as well. Then we're going to take another deep breath in through your nose. And let that one flow back out of your body through your mouth. And I want you to do this a few times where you're alternating, breathing in through the mouth and out through the mouth, and then in through the nose and out through the mouth. This allows your body to relax more fully. It allows you to use more of the capabilities. It allows you to breathe into your chest and into your abdomen. Your body breathes differently based on where you're breathing from. So just take a couple more breaths in and out. And then I want you to just breathe relaxed, however you feel comfortable breathing. Pay attention to the breath as it's flowing into your body. Follow its path. Where is it flowing to? And as it breathes out of your system, as you push it from your body, we're also going to set the intention that you are pushing out anything that no longer serves you, any dis-ease, any unrest that you are feeling, any trauma, grief, loss, all of these emotions, all of the mind clutter, the to-do lists. We're going to allow all of those to flow out of your body on the out breaths. If you notice any of them coming back into your system, just know that those out breaths are going to remove it, pull it out of your way. It doesn't need to sit in your system. I want you to, with your eyes closed, with your hands open as if you are ready to receive, I want you to imagine yourself in a beautiful place that is close to water. It can be any type of water, as long as there's some movement to it. I want you to take a few steps closer to the water's edge. Look at how beautiful the water is laying there in front of you. Look at how clear it is. You can see the reflections of the trees and the grasses around it. You can see your own reflection if you lean forward a little bit. But you can also see what's swimming in the waters. Allow yourself to take a closer look. Be present with how you feel. Be present with what you're seeing in front of you. Then I want you to take a closer look a little bit further out in the water. There's something glimmering on the bottom. Do you see what it is? I want you to take a step into the water, just a little bit closer to that object. Feel the warmth of the water as you step in. The sun has been heating the water all day, as if it was waiting for you to come and enjoy the beauty of this space. As you step into the water, not only do you feel the warmth, but you feel the smooth rocks on the bottom. Your feet hugging those rocks. They have a smoothness to their upper surface. But as you dig your toes in a little bit more, you can feel the edges. You can feel the bumps and the lumps, the little scrape marks that are in those rocks. You feel all of that. Those rocks are just like us. They've been worn by life. They've been worn by what has passed over them and through them and around them. And they have a smooth surface on the outside that they show to everyone. Yet it doesn't change the experiences that they've had. Notice how beautiful they feel below your feet. How connected you feel to Mother Earth as you're touching them. I want you to take another step closer to that object out in the middle of the water. You're starting to see what it is at this point. You're starting to see how the sun is shining off of it, how the colors are emerging. And you realize that there's a bottle in the water. And you see that there's a note inside. It's there in the middle of the water, just waiting for someone to come and experience the message that's written on it. You take another deep breath in, and you can smell the freshness in the air. You can smell the different scents from the water and the leaves on the trees. You take another step forward and reach down and grab this bottle. Continue to breathe as you open this message. The message is written just for you. Someone placed it there knowing that you were coming. Just like the sun knew you were coming and heated the waters for you. This person put this bottle right where you would find it. And as you open the message, you realize that it's the answer that you've been looking for. It is the answer to what you've been seeking. What does this message say for you? You're feeling the love that came from this message. You're feeling the wholeness as you're connecting to it. You feel held by Mother Earth, by your ancestors, by the spirits who guided you to these waters. And you hear the message clearly in your mind. You see the message clearly written in front of you. Before you leave these waters, you take another deep breath and recognize this space is the space that you've been looking for. It is the peaceful place that you have been seeking for your meditations, that you've been seeking to help you navigate your stress. And you remind yourself to remember this place. You remind yourself that this place is always available for you. And you look up and see the sun shining down on you. You feel the rocks below your feet again. And one step at a time, you begin walking back out of the water with the bottle and your message in hand. The first step takes you back to the beauty and the smell in the air. The second step, noticing the stones beneath your feet. And then you take a step back up onto the shore where you feel the grasses. You hear the nature sounds around you and feel the gratitude welling up within you for the experience that you've had today. Remember to look at your note, your message often, as it is exactly what you need. Take a few more breaths. Allow yourself to start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Allow yourself to bring yourself back into the place where you began while still holding the peace that you found during the meditation. And when you are ready, with another deep breath in and an out breath, slowly open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody.
On that note, I'm going to do an ASMR whisper here and let everybody go on their happy day, and hope to see everybody back next week.
Bye.